Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to Tenerife, where our first season in the top division of Spain is about to begin. And as a newly promoted side, what you really want is to start the season with a bunch of winnable games, just so you can get the momentum going and get that morale up early on. So naturally, our first 6 games include Atletico, Barcelona, Sevilla, Betis and Valencia. This is going to be a rough one. But of course, a new season does mean we do have new recruits to help us survive in this top division and get literally anything out of those first 6 games. Looking at that Espanyol game for 3 points, and that's about it. So last season we had a whole bunch of left-sided players. All of them have gone. Nono's out on loan for his entire wages, actually. Naranjo, who was actually out on loan last season to a Cypriot club for 13 grand a week. I don't know how that was achieved. I don't know how they afforded that, but he came back. He's not worth 13 grand a week. And he actually had a promotion clause on that, which meant he was actually on 16 grand a week for this season. No was the answer. No. He's left. Jacobo went for his release fee, actually, of £975,000. Never performed. Nahul Lever, who was also out on loan last season. I had even more left-sided players than you realised. He's gone. In fact, 2 of them went to Cadiz, which makes no sense because now they've got too many. Although in fairness, Borja Lasso was actually a central player who was injured all of last season and on way too much money. To be real, he's actually on less money there. That's the worst part. I'd have kept him around for 6.5. And Shashura's gone as well. Those last 2, both 3 million. I don't understand pricings. Shashura and Lasso went for 3 million apiece. Some of them went for 1.5. It's bizarre. Some of them less than 1 million. And yet, as far as I can tell, they're all the same player. In fact, I think Shashura is the worst of them, and he was sold for the most. Oh well, he's gone to Blackburn. He was also non-EU, so that spot's back. We actually get 3 spots in the top division. We're using one of them currently, and I'm trying to get rid of that player because he's being annoying. So Teixeira might be on this outgoing list by the time you see me next. Yeah, he wants a new contract. I'm not willing to give him it. Well, I was willing to give him it. He wants too much. So now for the ins, Romario Barrow is back in on loan for exactly the same deal he was last year. I tried to get them to agree to paying the entire wages rather than half and a monthly fee, which equivalates to the same. That's not a word. But then they countered with, no, you'll pay the entire wages and then that monthly fee as well. So I cut the wages back in half again, and they were fine with that. I don't really understand it. I'm paying them exactly the same. I'm paying them exactly the same per month either way, but it's worked out in the end because I'm actually at my wage bill now. So the fact that these loan players are on half their normal wages has actually worked in my favour. But Barra's back, as is Sitalo, who did exactly the same thing. I've also got them on not to be recalled, just in case I have any issues with Sitalo being played wrongly this year. I did get the playing position removed from this year's deal, but even so, not risking it, just in case something goes weird. I did try to get Pre back, by the way, for £0 a week before the affiliate link was cancelled. It did happen. It was cancelled. He ended up going to Porto, so tried to be sneaky, didn't pan out. First new player, though, is Thomas Eisfeld. This was agreed in January. He looked a lot better then, to be fair. And this was also part of the reason why I got rid of literally every other left-sided player, because I knew I had one coming in, and the others were all worse than him. Depressingly, he's listed as a good second division player now, so felt better in January. He's still quite well-rounded and quite decent. Antonio Severo became available. I noticed they were relegated Alaves, the club that he came from. So, again, leading player for a second division side. He's that little bit better than Cervantes, and Cervantes was very good. So, fingers crossed. Was toying with loaning a Barcelona goalkeeper for £14,000 a week, though, even with Severo in the bank. We'll leave it for the time being. Andros Townsend. Yep, he's better than Teixeira, and he's better than Valera was last year. So, again, though, depressingly, good player for second division sides. The weird thing about Andros Townsend is he appeared with a list of 3 Crystal Palace players at the top of my free agent list, or will be free agent list. They all said they wanted to leave because they were relegated. Crystal Palace were 8th somehow. I don't know what happened there, but we've got Andros Townsend, who is good without being amazing, basically. Mentals is where his weak point is, but he's got good work rate. The other key bits for inverted winger are all there: 14, 14, 15, 15. I've not changed these colours, by the way. 14 still gold to make him look better. Former England international, Andros Townsend. Joins Daniel Sturridge on that list. Of course, one of the best bits about Andros Townsend, either-footed. Oya Lopez, he's young, he's got potential. He was a free agent. He's come in. You won't see him. Got a lot to get through. Chus, same deal, although he's 2.5 star already, and he will be basically 5th choice backup centre-back. And another youth player, From Santander, one of those actually named under-19 division sides. Told you, check them because they have players like this. He's got 5'4", he's got 4 maybe 5-star potential. He signed for 22 grand compensation and already has 15 dribbling, 15 technique, 14 flair and 14 acceleration. A lot to be designed elsewhere, but he's 15 and he's 1.5-star in our current squad. Just to put that into perspective, currently operating at 2nd Division B level, which I think is the new 3rd division. Spanish system's weird. Martin Calderon is sort of in the same boat, although he's better already. He's 2 stars. Nicked him from Real Madrid. He's on a fringe player contract. Technicals are really good. Mentals are really good. Physicals are a bit weak, and I think that's what's letting him down in his current ability, because physicals really affect star rating. But for £225,000, I think he's a good little backup player. I was tempted to move Alberto on following this. Then I realised Alberto is a club legend and has been here his entire career, and I felt really bad about moving him on, because he's still only 28. And Sands will probably retire at the end of this year. So we're kind of in that awkward transition period. And then a new top tip, look at 3rd division sides, because Real Santander had this player. He's 2 stars now. He's 16 already. He's an AM, but I could play him further back. His good mentals, good technicals already. It's his physicals that let him down, but like I say, 16 can develop in that area. But yeah, nicked him for his release fee of £275,000. And for that, we're getting this player. Value's not great, and he's on quite a lot of money, to be fair, for his age, but doesn't need to be registered, I don't think, and could play a rotation option, even in an absolute emergency. In the under-19s for the time being, of course. Right, now we get onto the main transfers. So far, you're thinking, well, that's a lot of squad fodder. Sorry, Andros. But here come the actual starters. Now, this man has been brought in to play alongside Sotalo as a star player, 8 grand a week for Diogo Quiros. That's annoying to say, but he's 6'1" from Famalicão. 14, 15, 14 in those key defensive stats. He will play central defender role, which I need to change. Mentals are pretty good. Physicals are okay. He's not the fastest, but he's 22. Has a little bit more potential maybe to grow into. £2 million he's cost me. Not all of it up front, of course. Very good, solid defender. Oh, I forgot a couple of loans, by the way. Jorge Cuenca's coming on loan as well. This was agreed before other central defenders came in, so I thought I was going to need him. I kept him around because he's still the 2nd best backup, and he can't be terminated. Same with Araujo as well. He's a striking option. Striker's still a problem. Sturridge is still the best striker. But he has 16 finishing, 13 composure. Physicals are pretty good. 14 off the ball, 14 work rate, 14 penalty taken as well, which is nice. The other striking attributes quite good. Apart from passing as an advanced forward, he is very well rounded. All 12, basically all 13 minimum. A couple of 12s in there. Couple of 14s, and of course finishing 16, which is what we like. But the main reason for loaning him over the other options, there was a player that was worth about 4 grand a week who was better than this, who went somewhere else. But this lad's got potential, and I'm hoping he'll grow into it over the course of the year, and he's only costing us £2,000 a week. The player that's costing us £6,500 a week is Dejan Zukic, who again, currently 2nd division player level, but has potential. 2.2 million. That was his release fee at Vojvodina. A lot of 14s, a lot of 15s. Again, very well rounded. Very well rounded. Plays on that left-hand side, will be the starter over there, ahead of Icefield's squad player. This is why we sold all of them, because now we've got 2 players, and they're both better than all the players we had here already. And combined, have cost me 2.2 million. The sales from all those left-sided players add up to about 8, 9 maybe. I think they're the only players we've sold. Timothy Cognac comes in from Servette. 3 stars now, maybe 4 stars. He looked a lot better before, but he's worth 4 million. I'm not sure why he's listed as only 3 stars now. That's a little irritating. But again, very well rounded. Great mentals. Could be a good mentor as well going forward. He's only 23, so if that potential sort of rounds him out even more, we'll be laughing here a little bit. Turn some of those 13s into 14s maybe. He could be incredibly good. Plays advanced, plays box to box just as well. Essentially what we need in the middle. Slightly worried by the fact he doesn't look as good as he was before, because he's on £10,000 a week. But he's leading for the previous division, which means he's probably just good enough for our side at the bottom of ours. And then there's Felipe Suarez. Midfielder, has cost me about 4 million all told, guaranteed. Valued at 7 though, he's the highest value player at this stage, I think. 12 grand a week. It's a lot of money, but again, very good. He's actually better than Konya, I think, in basically every area. Great first touch technique, teamwork vision, determination 15 as well. Again, young players with a little bit more potential, which is why I like Suarez in particular. He's got that. Plays 1-2s, gets forward as well. He'd actually be perfect for the advanced playmaker role, because we play that on attack. If his acceleration was that little bit better and the anticipation, gets forward whenever possible, would be perfect for that. But he's the big money signing, £4 million from Moirenens. God, how do you pronounce that? Had a great season last year. Actually played a game before we signed him. 7.3. Suarez might be the big money signing and the highest value player but this man is our best player in the squad. He is about halfway down the list in terms of on that best player list on the season preview. And I think if you usurp Sotalo on that list, Romario Barra's still there near the bottom of that, which is depressing. But he's about halfway down. He's ahead of players from other sides like Ibar and Getafe and things like that. So he's genuinely like a mid-table side player. But Gianni Sassi, 14s, 15s, 19 determination. He's 29 though, so we're getting him at the tail end of his prime, annoyingly. But he'll be good for 2 or 3 years, I would argue. He's here for 3 years, in fact. And best of all, decent player for most first divisions. He's the only one with that symbol. He's the only one with that symbol. The only thing that lets him down is 8 strength, to be honest. Again, 11 acceleration. He might be used as the box-to-box. However, key thing here is, can play deeper. Situation is though he does play deep lying. I could also switch the attacking role from attacking playmaker to a different kind of role up there. Maybe with Metsala, for instance, and play him at his prime, which is deep lying back there, I think. Because his acceleration isn't great and his work rate is not particularly brilliant. I feel like playing him further back as a deep lying, he will be the starter in that role. We've still got Sands, we've still got Alberto, we've got that Calderon as well to maybe develop a little bit in that role. Whether we play ball play, he does have 12 tackling, but he's only 3-star at that. Whether we play to his strengths or not will be seen. So, of course, as you remember, last season we ended with 91 points, 9 points clear of Almeria. Espanyol were the team promoted from the players, as you saw on our fixture list. So, naturally, that means on this year's season preview, we're behind both of them significantly. 900 to 1 to win the title. We are 400 to 1 away from the nearest side. I don't like this. Like I said, for Gianni Sassi, in the middle of the key players list. What I find particularly interesting is both of Huesca's key players are about halfway down the list of key players, yet they're predicted 17th. There's so many players behind them if I keep scrolling, which just implies they've got 2 really good players and then no one else. Both of our key players are ahead of Almeria's and Elche's, and yet we're significantly behind them, which worries me for the same reason. But it's trial by fire as we join the Spanish First Division as we're away at Atletico. It's actually Barcelona and Real Madrid. El Clasico is happening on the first day. Just realised we're playing later in the day as everyone else. As Real Madrid take first blood as well. Just keep an eye on the other promoted sides. Almeria losing to Ibar on day 1 and Espanyol beating Villarreal. Great. But the lineup for Atletico is Severa in goal, Munoz, Quiros, Sutalo, Moore, Sassi, Barrow and Suarez in the middle, Zukic, Townsend, Sturridge. God help us all. And their lineup, of course, Oblak, Trippier, Jimenez, Felipe, Hermoso, Saul, Lorente, Koke, Lamar, Felix, Suarez. They've made no changes in a year. Quite remarkably, after 2 summer windows, they've not changed their starting lineup. Starting Quiros in that area of the pitch doesn't make sense. Either he's the defender. Where do you want him? This is what's called coaching, says Damien. Worth noting, we may be the lowest predicted side, but we have the best coaching in the division. So predicted 3rd versus predicted 20th, a mere 4 to 1 predicted winner versus a 900 to 1, which means on paper we are apparently 200 times worse. Over 200 times worse, in fact. Will we come out of this one with any dignity at all? Felipe Suarez is sending the ball in. Townsend now. I bet Townsend wasn't expected to be playing against Atletico this year, but here we go. Townsend. Imagine if Townsend had put that in. Imagine if Townsend ended up with goal of the season on day 1. Resulting corner has come to hopefully noting as Koke charges at us. Still charging at us. Still charging, and Sassi with a ridiculously good challenge. Unnecessarily dangerous looking challenge, I feel like, but fabulous nonetheless. Felix, blocked by Moore, Townsend clears. Sturridge will get on the end of this. Outfoxes that player in number 14 for them. And then we just run into Jimenez. Good work, lads. All the hard work done there, and then we just run into Jimenez. João Felix, Trippier on this right-hand side. Trippier, back to Saul, Lorente, back to Trippier. Suarez, well, we're 8 minutes in. He's blown for a foul. He's checking the penalty from the middle of the box. Penalty awarded. Surely a dive by Trippier, says the text at the bottom there. Kieran, mate. Luis Suarez with the spot kick. Goalkeeper goes the wrong way. If Trippier has actually dived there, I'm furious. That's unfortunate. If that's the deciding goal, I'm going to be even more furious as well. Because if we could have come out here with a point and some kind of momentum, some kind of morale, yet if we lose, it's not a huge morale loss, I think, 1-0. I think the scoreline does affect the severity of morale losses. And then literally nothing has happened in the rest of this half. Atletico moved to 2 overall XG. We're still on, because we've actually generally done nothing. Now we are. Motivate them out for the second half, and no one playing drastically wrong. There's a few 6.4s in there. Just going to go a little bit more balanced. Moso plays back to Lorente, Koke, Like, because we're already a defensive formation, so going cautious is fine. But who's marking Trippier? They've hit the post, as I silently watched in horror there. But why was nobody closing down Trippier at all? Like, I used to have my wingers track the fullbacks, which didn't work when they were playing with wingbacks because it doesn't understand that concept. Barrow's knackered. Oh, Cognac was injured, but I think he was actually okay to play this one. I've now realised. I thought he was on the bench. He isn't, which means I'm going to have to run Romario Barrow into the ground. Moore's on a 7.2, but he's also knackered. Kakabadze on. I presume the sub rules are still the same. It's 5 in 3. We've got a lot less sub space, which is the problem. I mean, we've not created anything here. I might just go positive for the last few minutes, because 1-0, 2-0 isn't a huge deal at the end of the day, especially when it's head-to-head first. But, oh, that's annoying. That's brilliant from Luis Suarez. Now we've got to try and nick 2, though. And we can't really nick 2. Icefeld can play in the middle. I think he's going to have to. Just for a few minutes, because Barrow's done. We had 1 shot on target in the entire game. And much as I'm not surprised, I just want to inspire them and motivate them even though we've lost. So just the mere matter of Barcelona next, and then I will actually probably bring you back around this Almeria-Huesca side. As fun as it is to bring you the games against the big teams like Atletico Barcelona, the season ends with Real Madrid, by the way. We bookended with the Madrids. From a content creator perspective, that's fantastic for me, because we open with Atletico, we end with Real Madrid. The big names are there. But this season isn't about the big names. We're not fighting with them yet. We're fighting with the teams at the bottom, the teams like Huesca and the fellow promoted sides, such as Almeria. So I think, as fun as that run of games is, with a bunch of sides, recognisable names in there, Sevilla, Valencia, Betis, of course, even if they don't have their actual name in the game, as fun as it would be to play those sides in episodes, that's not where our fight is this year. Our fight is against Almeria, it's against Huesca. So those two, both home games in the middle of October, nice little gap there between now and then as well. Of course, there's still a transfer window dealings to do. There's only one I'm trying to do, but it does mean someone will have to leave. There's a quick note on friendlies, actually. We did all right, considering we beat Sevilla, Barcelona drawn with, Valencia drawn with. Barcelona, worth highlighting, didn't put out a bad side. It's not their first 11, but they didn't put out a bad side. Like, this side would probably beat most mid-table sides, or lower, in the division. So the fact we came out of that one with a win was kind of surprising. The bench was a bit weak, so they didn't really have anyone to bring on. But the preseason did fill me with a little bit of confidence. Real Madrid 4-0 aside, but they did play full strength. But it gave me a little bit of confidence that we will be able to contest with at least the mid-table sides. As we saw really in last year in the Cup run, we had a couple of draws against first division sides and as a second division team. So there is hope yet, despite losing on the first day, of course. But 2-0, really a penalty, and then a bit of magic from Luis Suarez. We can't argue against that. I will see you soon against two teams we should be getting 3 points off of. So until then, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you feel like it. How are you feeling about Season 2? How are you feeling about those transfers? How are you feeling about 900 to 1? Until then, ta-ra.